Joining us now with stories trending around the world is Okpe. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Abati, looking dapper in your red bow tie. Good morning, Ayo. We missed you yesterday. You look actually beautiful today.
Oh, thank you.
I was watching you. Good morning. Rufy on fire. How are you this morning?
Good.
Fantastic. Very well. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending following the conflict in the Middle East after the U.S. and Israel launched coordinated airstrikes, killing Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Members of the Islamic Movement in Nigeria, commonly known as Shiites, took to the streets on Monday, staging protests in major cities, including Lagos, Kano, and Sokoto. The protests saw thousands of demonstrators chanting slogans against the U.S. and Israeli governments, whom they hold accountable for the assassination. The protesters carried placards expressing their outrage, and many called for solidarity with Iran in the face of escalating aggression from Western powers.
We support Iran! We support Iran! We support Iran!
Well, in Lagos, protesters gathered around strategic locations, voicing their demand for the Nigerian government to take a firmer stance against foreign interference in Islamic affairs. Meanwhile, in Sokoto, the atmosphere was charged with demonstrators marching through the streets, leading to heavy police presence to maintain order. These protests underscore the growing discontent among Shiite communities in Nigeria, reflecting a deeper sentiment regarding the geopolitical dynamics in the region. Dr. Abati, we're seeing the ripple effect of this U.S.-Israeli-Iran war. Now we're seeing, our Muslim brothers and sisters out there saying that, they support Iran and obviously expressing their grievance. The Shiite movement is very alive at this moment, with the supreme leader being, part of the movement as well.
Okay, it's very unfortunate that an incident in the Middle East, which has to do with geopolitics, competition for power among the big nations and all that, the part of it that would be of interest to Nigerian citizens is religion. This is again an indication of how religion is such a sensitive issue in Nigeria. You have the Sunni Muslims in Nigeria who are in the majority. You have the Shiites, who are of the Shia ideological orientation in Nigeria. So it's easy to assume that this will be the Shiites who are dragging the American flag on the floor, who are dragging the Israeli flag. Yeah. My take is that many of these persons involved in this protest, they don't even know what the conflict is all about. They have no idea. Some individual may just have mobilized them to go and fight for Iran and support Iran. Something that, in terms of their own circumstances, is not religion that is affecting them. They should be more concerned about the implications for cost of living in Nigeria. They should be more concerned about the implications for the pump price of fuel, which, we spoke about earlier on, has already gone up in Nigeria, as it has also in many parts of the world. They are just protesting, religion, which is why religion will continue to be divisive in this country. Our expectation will have been that whether you are Shiite or Sunni, you should join the global community that is pushing for peace, because it is when the world is a peaceful place that all of us will be able to live. However, the Inspector General of Police, Tunji Diso, has already placed his commissioners around the country on alert to say that, they should ensure that a problem many miles away, does not become an issue for destabilization in Nigeria. And I think that directive by the Inspector General of Police should be taken seriously by the policemen across the country, not to brutalize people, because they will insist on the freedom of expression, Section 40, Section 39, and the right to freedom of thought, Section 38. That's not what we're talking about. But to ensure that there's no breakdown of law and order, and that Nigerians don't start attacking themselves because of an incident in the Middle East. Even if anybody will say, we're a global village, but we should be prepared as a people in terms of how the fallout can affect us, not emotional demonstration down with this and all that.
Yeah.
No.
The story continued to unravel. Meanwhile, in Bauchi State, a video reportedly showing the dramatic exodus of residents from Mansur and surrounding areas in Alkaleri local government area of the state has gone viral on social media. The video emerged following a violent siege by terrorists forcing thousands to flee their homes, with many seeking refuge in neighbouring Gombe state. This was shocking. This attack follows an earlier incident on February 22nd, when terrorists targeted a joint task force base in Gwana District, resulting in the deaths of 2 soldiers and 1 vigilante, alongside the abduction of 3 members of the community. Eyewitness account described the perpetrators, estimated to be over 10,000 heavily armed assailants, possibly affiliated with Fulani terrorist groups or ISWAP, arriving on motorcycles and launching indiscriminate attacks across communities such as Diage, Gwana, and Futuk, and others. Well, the Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed has confirmed the invasion and announced an emergency fund of 50 million naira to assist displaced residents. He has urged for swift federal support to address the crisis. In response, the Bauchi State Police Command has deployed additional forces and reassured the public by increasing patrols and intelligence gathering to restore safety. I mean, this particular incident, there's been no report of casualty at the moment, but you saw that video, Ayo. I mean, it just felt like we were in Sudan or somewhere, a war zone at this moment.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why, people have often said that whilst we keep one eye on the Middle East and the Gulf areas and this war, we should have a bigger eye on Nigeria, because the conflict still exists. It would be quite hypocritical of us to criticize or analyze a war that, yes, affects Nigeria in one way or the other when we are still under siege in our own country. I mean, take a look at this. Whilst America and Israel are trading bombs or are at war with Iran, Nigeria is at war with itself, held under siege by bandits, terrorists, whom the government has not made, enough efforts to actually pull back. Look at this. Like you mentioned, it's almost as if it does in the south and the north. There's such a big difference when it comes to the state of insecurity. Yes. And if we think because you live in the south, you are insulated from this, it's only a matter of time before it continues to move in and in. Initially, we used to just talk about the northeastern states like, Zamfara, Borno State. Now we're seeing states like Niger, we're seeing Kebbi State, we're seeing states that are under siege by these bandits. Number one is that what can the state governors do? Not a lot, aside from, of course, the soft power provision of infrastructure to reduce the incentives to go into a life of criminality, engagement with locals so that they do not entertain, or they're able to receive intelligence from the locals so that they do not entertain these terrorists. But beyond that is that until we have state police, and that's why we keep talking about that, they can only do as much. And then now to the federal, the center. Whilst there's a lot of announcements being made, talk about the efforts made by the government to tackle insecurity, unfortunately, we are not seeing the direct impact on how how safe and secure Nigerians feel in these areas. And so what we see is a reaction. Oh, we'll provide support. We'll release this amount of money to rehabilitate. But Nigerians should move away from that to seeing how we can prevent this from happening. And that's why I end on saying we must come back to the conversation around if we don't show a seriousness to tackling this issue around the financiers of terrorism, going after them, we do not, cut off their supply, their lifeblood in terms of their finances, we'll continue to have these issues. If we don't see arrests following these invasions by these terrorists, we will not see a lot happening in that regard. And so the big thing we keep talking about is that how can every Nigerian, irrespective of where they live in the country, feel safe and not feel like they're at war in their own country?
Yes. Absolutely, a spot on. I mean, a lot of the people in the north actually do believe that they are at war. I mean, they do feel that they're at war. Every single day we're seeing such incidents, and now people are displaced. We hope for a day in Nigeria where we don't have any more IDP camps. Let's head over to Edo State now, where the governor of the state, Monday Okpebholo, shocked a crowd of protesters and activists on Monday when he joined the group to protest against the Benin Electricity Distribution Company. The protest was put together by the organized Edo people against BEDC oppression group in Benin City. Okpebholo, while addressing the crowd, agreed with them that BEDC is not doing enough. Let's take a look.
We are all youth. Is that not so? Yes. Are we not Edo youth? Yes. So I've come to join you on the protest. The only way we can fight them is to bring stakeholders into this business of distribution.
Yes.
I want to let you know we will break the monopoly. And that monopoly does not belong to one man. So how do we do it? We have to operate like the way telecom operates. Bringing different stakeholders, bringing different companies so that we can have light.
Our camera guy in the studio is from Edo State, your governor. Well, the governor said he would have a meeting today with stakeholders on the issue. However, ex-users have questioned why the governor of the state is joining the protest as opposed to assuring people that as their leader, he will provide or improve security and electricity supply in the state. I will take Adeni's tweet. He wrote, "Nigeria is exhausting. How does a sitting governor join residents to protest electricity for something he has the power to fix? You're in government. Solve it. Leadership is not protest." In the meantime, a clip from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 2023 campaign has resurfaced online as it shows the president, then a presidential candidate, making a promise to voters that if he is unable to deliver stable and affordable electricity in his first term, voters shouldn't give him a second chance. Let's take a look.
Whichever way, by all means necessary, you must have electricity, and you will not pay for estimated bill anymore. A promise made will be a promise kept. If I can't keep the promise and I come back for second term, don't vote for me. That's the truth. Unless I give you adequate reasons why I couldn't deliver. And it's convincing enough.
A promise made is a promise kept. Well, former presidential candidate Peter Obi also recently discussed this strengthened video on his X page, in which he pointed out that the national grid collapsed at least twice in January and collapsed about 12 times in 2025, highlighting how a candidate's promise during a campaign can easily resurface when they are not kept. Rufai, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in that resurfaced clip, urged Nigerians not to vote for him if we do not have constant electricity supply. And now we see the governor of Edo State, Monday Okpebholo, out on the streets protesting inadequate electricity supply in his state.
Okay, couple of things. President Tinubu said we should not vote for him if he can't provide power. Like he said, he's not been able to provide power. In fact, shall I tell you what he's done? He's taking the presidential villa, he's taking it to solar. He's going off the grid. So it shows that President Tinubu, in terms of power provision, has been a failure. A big-time failure. Let me even excite you even more. President Tinubu promised the electricity operators that last year was going to pay their over 4 trillion debt, legacy debt. Today, that debt has gone up to 6 trillion. President Tinubu keeps dribbling them. The other day, the Nation newspaper came out to say that there's been a body set up to be able to evaluate and check if those monies were actually correct, and they beat that money to about 2.8 trillion. The electricity operators came out to say it's a lie. So the government is playing politics with power. They are not ready. And President Tinubu has failed as regards it. So if you say don't vote for him as regards power, except he gives you a reason, I'm going to tell you authoritatively, he has no reason. He has just failed. He's not been able to solve his problem. He's been a massive failure as regards power. Then he's running to solar. The fact that he's running to solar is a big indictment on him. Secondly, as regards power situation in the country, we have installed capacity of over 13,000. The national grid cannot hold more than 5,000-6,000 because it's moribund. He's not able to fix the national grid. He's made endless promises about Siemens coming in. They keep talking about deals here and there. We don't see any action on the grid. Most importantly, Akpakomisa that is going ahead to protest, the joke is on him. His predecessor built something called Osiomo Power Plant, 95 megawatts. Has he built any power plants? The Chinese partners of the Osiomo Power Plant pulled out of the JV as of 1st of September 2025 because they couldn't meet the agreements. So we should ask him what happened to Osiomo Power Plant. You see, these politicians are very hypocritical people. That's why with the crop of politicians we have, Nigeria can never move forward. That's why you have a level of insecurity. The state is obviously overwhelmed. Ayo, you are seeing a losing state. You are seeing South Sudan in the making. You are seeing Somalia in what is happening in Bauchi. A losing state. A state where bandits are raiding people. People are running away. Terrorists are raiding people. Look at them running away. It's the same people this Nigerian state want to come and ask taxes from. And they are making new tax law for. The government cannot even do anything for these people. Will these people tell you that they have any impact of the government in their lives? So you can see, plus Akpakomisa that is going to protest because his own father, Tinubu, that he said if Tinubu does not enter, he will resign. His own father has failed nationally. He thinks BEDC does not want to give power to their customers. It's because of the failure of his own father on the national scene, President Tinubu, that he's saying he's going to resign if he does. If people don't vote, I want to give 2 million votes in Edo. Do you know how many million voters? I don't even know how many million voters that are coming out to vote. They say want to give 2 million votes for. It's because of his failure of his father at the national level that BEDC.
How many votes did he get himself?
I don't even know. And I don't even care to know.
Okay.
So if his father failed on the national scale, he's not going to protest against BEDC and harass BEDC, say they are not doing well. They are not doing well. They are not doing well. Yeah. And he has Osiomo Power there. Yeah. They've not been able to fix Osiomo Power because he has not even built new power plants. Should they've passed the law that states can now, adapt their own power. How many power plants has it been? How many vessels has it brought to the states that regards power? The Osioma one that is there, they left it. These guys are a bunch of jokers.
All right, but the bigger picture really is about electricity. And, we do need constant electricity supply in Nigeria. I mean, I'll start again with my Ndukwa Nation. Ndukwa Nation is still in darkness. I've been talking about electricity in Ndukwa Nation.
For so many years.
But the governor of the state has promised and they are working, and I have seen some results already. So hopefully this year, 2026, Ndukwa Nation will have electricity by the grace of God. And we also...
that's what you said last year.
Last year was just half of the year, it was August. So the whole of 2026, let's see. I'm always optimistic.
Yes. And you have
we always have to. And the idea is about engagement. So we have to continue to engage with several stakeholders to make sure. Electricity is our right. Is it really not?
Yeah.
Come on.
In 2026, we should be arguing about that.
2026. But I liked that optics to see the governor out there. Governor Monday Okpebholo. Oh, well, all right. Well, in another development, the Nigerian Police Council officially confirmed Tunji Disu on Monday as a substantive Inspector General of Police under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. As a result, users on social media have gone to his page to share videos, as he is also a professional judo medalist. Let's take a look.
Just saw it. Oh God! I would have gone. He's dead.
Put on. Come on, move. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. I mean, people on social media have congratulated him. They're saying, I hope that he can fight, these criminals the way that he's doing. Disu has spoken about how he discovered the martial art while he was a student at Lagos State University. He has won a number of medals, including 2 gold medals at the National Sports Festival, as well as awards at the Nigerian Police and Armed Force Games. I love this story. Congratulations to the Inspector General of Police. Well, let's head over to Abia State now to highlight this video that has been trending online, showing an tense interaction between the state's governor, Alex Otti, and journalist Chiaka Nwabueze. The interaction, which took place during Governor Otti's monthly media chat last week, became intense after the journalist asked the governor to provide quantifiable evidence to show that his administration has improved the standard of living for the people in Abia State. Let's take a look.
Your Excellency, I want to ask, can you provide verifiable data showing how your policies have directly improved the economic and living conditions of ordinary Abians beyond infrastructural development, Your Excellency?
So the point is that this media chat is a serious media chat. So we are not here to massage opposition. Okay, that we throw this open for people to ask questions doesn't mean that people should be stupid. So if you can't feel what is happening in the state where you live, then I'm sorry, I can't help you. So let's take this very serious. Okay? Speech is free, so you can. But when you come for my media chat, you must be prepared. If you don't have any questions, then you don't raise your hand.
Well, Dr. Bati, this video has been trending online. Some people have defended the governor, stating that the journalist should have already obtained that information as part of his research. Others reacting like the International Press Center called on the governor to publicly apologize. Your take on the story, Dr. Abati?
Okay. First, I don't think that the governor was fair to the guy, Chika Nwabueze. It's a job of journalists to ask questions. But we've seen that, after a fashion, governors, ordinary citizens, they develop the habit of teaching journalists how to do their job. One politician just tried that this morning, creating a lot of tension. I thought that it was even a good question, asking the governor, to tell his public how his projects have impacted in a measurable manner on the lives of the people. That would have been a good opportunity for the governor to go to town.
Yes, to sell himself.
And sell himself.
Yes.
In fact, it was a leading question.
Yes.
I didn't see it as a difficult question. Because if the journalist had appeared opinionated and antagonistic, running a lecture before asking his question, showing that he was already biased, that would have been a different thing. But, Mr. Governor, you say you have done a lot of projects. Tell us how, you have impacted the people of Abia State. If I were in the governor's shoes, I would have spoken for the next 15 minutes.
Right.
Telling you the projects, telling you what I've done, telling you what is different, and what is what the last administration forgot to do that I have delivered. Yes, journalists are supposed to be investigative journalists, but even when a journalist knows the reality,
sometimes they give that leading question just to help
the question. Let the people hear it from your mouth.
All right, okay.
So in that regard, I thought the governor was harsh, and they should find a way of making peace. That's the state government.
All right.
You know, even apologizing to the gentleman away from the cameras.
A good way.
Will be a good idea.
Absolutely.
You know,
opinions are divided. I mean, it was a longer tape, it was a longer video, and it appeared that the governor had felt, some sort of disappointment in some of his questions. So,
he was just asking for an explanation. Even if he was being mischievous, the governor could have educated him.
All right. Well,
after all, he's there as governor, serving the people, but calling him stupid, saying he's representing the opposition, that may not be fair.
All right. Well, I'm sure the matter will be resolved.
They will resolve it.
It's a media week. They need journalists. I mean, you cannot be fighting journalists at this point. Well, all right. Well, now to the latest from the Epstein files, where footage from former President Bill Clinton and his wife, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's 9-hour deposition has just been released, in which both distanced themselves from the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The House Oversight Committee put out the full videos on Monday, which showed both Republicans and Democrats question the Clintons about their relationship with the Epstein and his associate with Ghislaine Maxwell. Let's take a look.
I don't know. I mean, I've already told you this. I'll tell again. I never saw anybody do anything wrong. I thought they were flight attendants. The only conversation I had with President Trump about this was in the early 2000s. And I have no information that he did anything wrong. I just want it all out there. I want everybody to get it all out there and let everybody see where we are.
Okay, so do you remember were they under 18? Would you know? No.
Were they part of your traveling party, he's asking you?
Yes, they were, I think. I think everybody there was part of our party. It was late at night or late-ish. And I also believe that there was a Secret Service agent there at the other end of the pool.
Okay, and was this in public?
No, it was a hotel room, and the Sultan wanted us to stay there, and the water, this big pool, was on the same floor that there were several suites, so we went out, I swam around, I sat in the hot tub for 5 minutes, or whatever it was, and I got up and went to bed.
I have another photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying from inside this room. Can you please advise me as to whether or not that's permissible and consistent with the rules, particularly given that we have asked for a public hearing? If there are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying, can you please explain how that can occur?
I'm done with this. If you guys are doing that, I am done. You can hold me in contempt from now until the cows come home. This is just typical behavior.
You will go off the record.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
So I would like to understand how that's permissible.
Before the hearing was...
It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah, well...
I would like to take a break at this moment.
Yeah,
I'd like to have
I'm done for now.
Power woman. I don't think I've ever seen Hillary Clinton this ruffled and this way. I mean, the positions come weeks after, political back and forth, including the Clintons initially not wanting to testify. Neither have been accused of any wrongdoing connected to the Epstein's files. But it is rare to see this, kind of candid footage from, both parties. I felt Bill Clinton was, quite calm, but some of those pictures that they are talking about around the bathtub with hot tub, Bill Clinton, and all of the Epstein's file. The story is just quite gory. I saw the documentary, I believe, a few years ago before Epstein died, and I always thought this can't be real until Epstein's file.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there are a number of lessons from that, footage, and when we talk about public officials who are very calm, being ruffled. It means even the best of the best can have, their tempers tested. And in this instance, we see that. I recall that earlier on when we'd analyzed her, deposition, one of the first things she had said was that she felt it was politically motivated, and that if they were really serious about the justice process, then the president himself should also be given a deposition. So coming from that state of mind that she already believes that it is politically motivated, you can understand her irritation and her short-temperedness when it came to, responding to questions. But nevertheless, it still shows where institutions are respected and where there are no sacred cows. Whether you are a former president, whether you're a former Secretary of State, you will still answer to the people and you're still subject to the law. This is what we've seen play out in America and the Epstein files, even though there's a comma here and there based on President Trump not being involved. But let me just say this. Under oath, the Clintons have continued to maintain that they did no wrongdoing. In fact, former President Bill Clinton used a personal experience and he was abused himself. So if he knew that Epstein was in any way involved in the things that he was involved in, he would have turned him himself. To what extent that is true, in the coming days, in the coming weeks and years to come, I believe that the truth will, no matter how long it has been covered, will come to the fore. But they have given their position.
Real quickly, with due respect, I just pray Clinton is saying the truth.
Under oath.
Because this was the same Clinton that lied under oath by saying I had no relations with that woman, Monica Lewinsky. And it turned out to be a lie. Do you know because of that, his bar, what is it called? His bar license was taken away from him. And he was impeached. I just pray that Clinton is not lying. That's just what I believe. Secondly, Trump too should be allowed to come and sit on this position.
I'm waiting for that day. Rufai, you're calling Trump. I hear you. Well, all right. Now to South Carolina, where thousands of people gathered in the state's capital, Columbia, on Monday to say thank you and bid farewell to Reverend Jesse Jackson, the globally revered civil rights icon whose activism helped impact a nation. The tribute in his home state began with a mile-long procession of his casket draped with the American flag, drawn by horse wagon from the funeral home to the State House. Flags were flown at half-mast in his honor throughout the day after he arrived at the State House, with the procession followed by a memorial service at Brookland Baptist Church, which was open to the public. May his soul rest in peace. Jackson's funeral will take place in Chicago at the end of next week. May his soul rest in peace. He will lie in honor there as, one of only a dozen people to do so in America. Well, again, may his soul rest in perfect peace. One of the greatest activists of our time. Well, let's end what's trending today, highlighting this video from Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke singing and celebrating the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, who turned 84 on Monday. In the video, Governor Adeleke leads a group to sing and dance for the pastor, a fellow Osun State native, in this heartwarming moment. Let's take a look.
Happy birthday to you. That day that the Lord has made, I will rejoice and be glad in it. That day that the Lord has made. Olúwa mi mo dúpẹ́. Olúwa mi mo dúpẹ́. Olúwa mi mo dúpẹ́. Mo dúpẹ́, mo dúpẹ́, mo dúpẹ́. Mo wá dúpẹ́ o. Olúwa mi mo dúpẹ́. Bàbá wa. Olúwa mi mo dúpẹ́. Olúwa mi mo dúpẹ́. Mo dúpẹ́, mo dúpẹ́.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Hey, Daddy
Somebody
Gio,
shout
happy
hallelujah.
birthday. Somebody shout what?
Somebody shout
Dr. Martin, where is your prayer hand? Your prayer hand is always up when it comes to this religious thing. I saw you dancing.
Daddy in heaven really said that all of you here will be blessed.
Well, all right. Again, happy birthday to Pastor Adeboye. In a statement, the governor celebrated the pastor for his impact and projecting Nigeria positively on the global religious landscape. Well, on that note, I'd love to thank you all for a great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Again, happy birthday, Pastor Adeboye. That's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.